to what is now a lovely sunny day in Silverstone, much different to what it is in London, or it has been for most of the day. And we are back for RPM's Championship Division, and I am welcoming the incredibly glamorous Inorganic on comms. How are you?
Hello there, Mr. Jones. I'm not too bad, how are you?
All good, all good. Kind of glad not to be racing, if I'm being totally honest. Fairly stressful evening last night. I said the bear. But I'm on board with Kieran. I understand you know Kieran quite well. Taking that McLaren out for spin, but I think there'd be no better way to start off a broadcast review than to get an early prediction for this qualifying session.
Oh, I think you've got to look at the early pace setters. Nats, I've got to say a special hello to Nats. Apparently she is my number one fan, in an exclusive club of one. So yeah, and Smith's got some good pace. I would go probably Nats, Smith. Oh no, third. Do you know what? Entity.
I was actually going to say Entity myself. I think he's quietly confident. Also brings me on to my next thing. Nats was once his biggest fan as well. Maybe a bit of a glory hunter here. You're the glamorous podium getter, and sitting I think third in the championship in first division. And maybe she's switching allegiances. If you start dropping performances, you might not be getting those kind words anymore.
I think it's just done on like divisions. I think because obviously I'm in the first division. So, but I have been known and called the father of RPM. So,
yeah, and I've been called the problem son, the problem child. Well, I'm seeing in chat either saying who is the second person in a Ferrari. That is LS 24 Hours. He has raced here previously. So I'm guessing he's reserving tonight. I might be wrong.
I don't think I know. LS 24 Hours.
The thing with LS 24 Hours, and I've said this forever, is he's always ready for endurance type battles. Unfortunately, he's only got 26 laps here rather than 24 hours. As Kieran puts himself just a tenth off provisional pole, and Rusty Can another 9/10 further back. We've got Booty saying, evening everyone, Booty, evening to you, Vining, evening to you. Right, we'll get on board with Nats as we've Stubby, who's been going very well in qualifying so far this year, 26.4, and there he is, the big man himself, 26.2, Entity, lost Glader with a 26.3, and I like to see what allows them there, 26.7, got no allegiances to Aston Martin at all, but that is amazing, as Natalie has invalidated. Talking of Aston Martins, let's go on board with Bakker, as he does a 26.7. I went on board with him just as he crossed the line, that was interesting. Now, last week, I don't know if you watched the stream in Organic, every time I switched to Bakker, he was either hitting someone, crashing, invalidating laps, or hitting more people. As I've had an error, so I will rejoin the session as quickly as possible so that everyone is not just watching a screen here of nothingness. I don't know if you are able to update us on anything that's happening on track at the moment.
Okie dokie. I'm At the moment, I'm actually on board with Bakat, but he's just, yeah, I think he's in an in lap. Bakat's gone fifth fastest at a 1:26.7. So no one is really anywhere close to entity yet. We got just, oh, has just gone past. Oh, no, I think he's going to the pits. Oh, you're back with us now.
Yeah, I'm back with you now, and I've just seen in chat Cosmo saying, Ivor saying Cosmo will be out by lap 9. I think he'll actually be out 9 laps earlier than that. You got to laugh at some of the comments. Evening, Colin. Nice to have you along, or learner driver as you're going by these days, and you can see why. I'm not sure he's ever learned how to drive, that Colin fella. I've tried to teach him a few things, but apparently he doesn't want to go backwards into corners. So, you know, take of that what you want.
Yeah, I mean, he's not your typical learner driver, is he really? You don't really see him tootling around the streets and everyone getting behind him and getting pretty, daft, you know. But
I'm hoping to God, because of how quick he is, he's awful at like 3-point turns or parallel parking, or just really, really neglects mirror signal manoeuvre. It scrapes the sides of cars or something. At least his retort to any police officers could be, no, just tune in on a Thursday night. You'll see I'm an all right driver.
I don't know. Last week was a bit of a shock, wasn't it? Because I think he found the wall. I don't know if that was kind of parked in the bay in the start-finish straight.
Quite possibly. I actually missed last week completely.
Yeah, he didn't have the best of races there for
it's
Colin.
good. It's good to know he is human. Because I was starting to think we'd actually had artificial intelligence before ChatGPT and the rest of the stuff going on these days with the way Colin is able to drive around. He's saying, "Don't worry, you'll see plenty off my plate on my." I'm really struggling to understand. Oh, you'll see plenty of my L plate. I was thinking it was a capital I. You'll see plenty of my L plate on the back of my car. I won't even be close enough to make out the L, and I don't have great eyesight, so I'm sat here about 4 foot from my TV with glasses on. I've got my binoculars at the ready as well. And it's watching Rusty Oil Can in this beautiful Alfa Romeo, I think you'll say, in organic, doing a hot lap.
Lovely car, the Alfa. Lovely looking car. And gotta say, it's going pretty well at the moment.
It is, certainly is. In the All Gears Championship as well, Rox is up into the top 3 and top of the First Division Championship. As now, what have you been teaching Kieran? He's got a 5-place grid drop. Or is that what I've been teaching him?
Well, it's got to be you because he never listens to me, so...
Yeah, and if he's getting penalties, it must be me.
Yeah, what's he done there? Is
He must have made contact with someone, as Rusty Oil Can does improve to 27.2. Get on board with Nats, who's on a flying lap now, coming through the final section.
I think let's start a flying lap now.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Can I... Let's see if we... Get the telemetry in. There we go. And the lap data. Knew I was forgetting something. Colin is saying I'm a sandbag master because of my pace in First Division. No, I think everyone else is just sandbagging round me at the moment. It's just making me look good.
I don't know. I mean, interesting race for you yesterday. But you got on the podium, and I think you've been on the podium all season, haven't you, apart from the first race?
Yeah, and arguably I should have been on the podium there, but it's a bit over-eager. I've got to say, I haven't been doing much practice. Oh, it's Huss retires from session. I haven't been doing much practice on this game this year, and it's actually surprisingly serving me well as Nats runs out of fuel.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. I don't know what it is with under fueling here. I know when I raced yesterday, I had it for the full amount of laps, and my light was flashing in the last couple of corners. So,
see, I had the man I'm on board with right now as my engineer last night, and he was telling me, go for 26.4 laps of fuel, go for 26.4, and I said, no, I'll go for 26.9 because I worry about fuel. And halfway through the race, I found out that we were way, way under fueled. I think I was probably pretty happy on the throttle as well. I think 27.3 could be the happy medium. But I was also thinking there might be a safety car.
yeah, there'll be safety cars around Britain. There's a couple of places where you can kind of lose it. I was quite surprised there wasn't a safety car. And we did have forecast as well as rain, which kind of I think may have played into a few people's heads. But I just thought I'd just go with the normal setup and just see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I think fuel, because it's a long lap here, so I think with no safety cars you can use quite a bit more fuel than what you normally would.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a few of us fell foul of that yesterday. I was going to say, Stubby did put himself onto provisional pole, only for Entity to wrestle it straight back out of his hands again with a 1:26.1. Absolutely flying along at the moment as Lau invalidates currently in 6th. Kieran into the pits. He's going to be looking... Oh no, I got the wrong Kieran. We got two. We got two in the McLarens. This is. People are trying to take the mick out of me now because I struggle enough to know my own name. Now I've got two McLarens. We've got a Key Ron and a Kieran. Is that right?
Kieran and a Key Ron.
Okay.
Ron.
Kieran is 0064.
Yep, Kieran. Yep.
And Keyron is not. Okay. And that's the dress rehearsal, everybody watching. Might even have to start doing vocal warm-ups now. So it's Keyron who has the 5-second grid penalty. Right.
Okay.
So Kieran, well, he's going to be trying to start 19th here at the moment, but luckily he'll be moved up from that. He's got no ERS left, so I think he's not actually on the lap at the moment. Backer in chat saying, hi there, party people. Well, stop partying, Backer. It's time to take things seriously. Nat saying may or may have not... can't even get my words out tonight. I do need some vocal warmths. She may have forgotten to put the ERS on as the top and bottom of it. Yeah, that'll be handy. And Learner Driver saying, are you sure that's right in organic with those pronunciations?
Oh yeah, we have to say Kieran. I am going to say I apologise now if I say Kieran when I mean Kieran, because you're both in the same car.
Yeah, I know. I'm
in trouble.
I'm going to make that mistake a hell of a lot. Entity saying I won't underfuel tonight or speed in the pit lane. Thanks, Entity, for reminding me. Why don't you focus on your driving? He says as he watches Entity sitting there in a nice first position. Lost Glader is going to be the first car on their final runs, I would assume here. And looks like he might have an Alfa Romeo in front, but won't have too much traffic other than that.
I think Nats has got to try and put a decent time in now. Pressure's on.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll try and go on board for that. She was the winner last week after I basically counted her out in the sprint, and then that came back and bit me basically. I make a lot of predictions, but they're almost always proven instantly incorrect. Hence why Luke has to keep bailing out bet RPM.
Well, I think if we're taking money on the Cosmo on lap 9, I think we should be all right for money this week. That's what we're not going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, we won't say why it could have been voided. We'll just say, yeah, we'll take your money. Don't worry about it. Please don't look in the names on the left-hand list if you want to put bets on Cosmo. As Lost Grader, a 1:25.7. Unbelievable lap time. And we're actually starting to get some gambling going on in the chat. You love to see it. We've got Ivor saying Entity first, Lost Glader, then Nat on the podium. I don't know if that is in any order. One safety car and 2 DNFs. We'll bear that in mind. I don't know if you've got any odds on that from our very high-tech machines here in the Bet RPM headquarters in Organic.
Or them odds are going to be actually quite low looking at these qualifying times. Probably looking at 1 to 2.
Are you saying that as we look at the email from Luke saying please stop hemorrhaging me money? We've also got Booty saying Entity, Glader and Smith. Well, that's looking good for it. I think Smith is always a good bet for a podium. Currently sat in 4th. I'm on board with Rodo at the moment in the Alpine trying to improve, and then I'll switch over to Nat to see what she can do. Rodo comes across the line now. He does improve, but not quite enough to usurp the 2 at the top. Right.
Nats is going round. She's quicker than what she was original time.
Yeah,
she's just a 2 now.
7 tenths up so far on this lap. I'll get my sassy comment out of the way now. Not that hard to do from her previous lap time. You're lost for words.
I'm trying not to put her off here because you know me and my predictions and my good looks.
Oh, if you've got any more, feel free to get them in now. I mean, she's 1.3 up through the first 2 sectors, so we're looking at a low 27 at the moment. What can she do through the final sector? Can she found at least another half temp to get herself in the top 7? She absolutely can. She gets herself 7th. As Smith goes 3rd, I'm going to get on board with Entity, who's in a right old battle for pole here, and he's nearly a tenth up on his time, but that's not quite enough at the moment. Lost Glader will be taking the pole position and the extra point that comes with it. Here comes Entity as Stubby goes 2nd. Entity steals it straight. Entity's got a problem with Stubby, I think. Every time Stubby goes quicker, Entity just goes and steals it back off him. And the 2 Alpines are not on representative laps, so that will be our grid.
Just looking at the weather, and it's going to be a dry one.
So it'd be interesting to see what people do on strategies then, because obviously, like you said last night, I think strategies were a bit mixed at the start because people weren't sure if we were going to have rain or not.
Yeah, it was predicted, but I did hear it because I have the commentary on, and I did hear from pit lane expert that as we were racing, the percentage of rain was actually going down. So yeah, whether there was a couple of drivers that kind of thought there might have been going onto inters at one point, but it blew. it blew across. It didn't impact us. So
I've just noticed something that's really, really nice about this year's game is that EA are doing free advertising for our league there. You can see it in the middle of your screen, above the flashing light. Yes, we are RPM Esports, and thank you very much for EA. I'm glad we negotiated that deal to get RPM in the game. If anyone's going to say something silly like, that means revolutions per minute, you're out of your mind. It's pure advertisement.
pure advertisement. Yeah.
Right, so there we see the grid. Not the best view there. Here's the time. So, Lost Glader really pulling it out of the bag. 2 attempts to Entity. We've got Stubby on third. Smith, who's man of the whole world by the looks of it, as well as Lau. Rodo in fifth. Oscar in the heart in sixth. Is he a new driver? I'm not sure. Don't know if you know this one in Organized.
Possibly. I know we did have a new driver.
There we go.
Yeah.
A disappointing session for Nats, and she'll be incredibly disappointed to be in an Aston Martin sandwich, I imagine, especially with how we saw Bakker racing at Austria. Just to get him out there early on, and I'll try not to offend him during the race. Keyron will be starting from the back with his 5-place grid penalty behind Ellis 24 Hours, who is reserving. We've got Rusty, Huss above that, and Leaky and Explicit Simo and Kieran in a British hat-trick in the middle of the field there.
Yeah, there's nothing worse being in an Aston Martin sandwich.
Thankfully, I'm never in the middle of the sandwich. I'm always one of the pieces of bread.
Yeah, it was actually quite nice yesterday not to be rammed by a member of Mr. Jones's team. That hasn't happened for the last couple of races. It was quite nice.
I thought this was bumper cars. I've got to be honest. You see an Alfa Romeo and you just you don't brake. They may as well put on the back of your rear wing for me in organic. This is your brakes.
Well, I've certainly seen a target on the back. I mean, it's not just yourself. It seems to be teammates of yours as well that have got it in for me.
Well, yeah. Hopefully we'll see less of that. I've been fairly well behaved, I think, so far this season. Less so in the Discord. But enough of that. As we have 4, 5. Okay, let's go. And we're off to a start here. Lost Glader getting away. Alright, but Entity having a really poor start, and he's sandwiched between an Alpine and a Mercedes there, and he's dropped right back down. He's in 4th place, but he's going to struggle to keep that from Smith. So we see a Red Bull nearly spinning, but Entity making a good recovery, and I think he'll be happy after retiring last week, I think. Colin saying Oscar the Goat deserves a penalty point for his having Goat in his name. Now,
yes, that's right. Yes. Yes.
You may never know. He might actually be a goat. So let's reserve judgments. He may be playing on his hooves or whatever goats have.
Oh, and it's got worse for Nats because she's had a spin and she's quite far down now.
Yeah, she might have been that Red Bull that I noticed in the background having an issue, and both Red Bulls having an issue at the moment. I've got to say, after watching Formula 1 for the last, 10 weeks or whatever, I'm quite enjoying seeing the Red Bulls this far down.
Yeah, it's nice to see nice to see a Red Bull struggling, but not one of our Red Bull drivers.
Not your biggest fan. DZ Cartin said at the start of the stream, which he's actually correct, saying, I think Natalie will get a podium. He's commented back on his own comment saying, that's not aged very well. It has not. It's aged very, very poorly.
And that's coming to the pits, so...
as Rodo and Oscar the Goat, making some contact there. I'm having fun with it. As Lau also round the outside of Smith here. Has he got that done? He has. And it's... As we've seen a few times in Championship this season, so tightly matched. they just seem to be constantly overtaking each other. Let's have a little look at the strategies here, shall we?
And that happened last week. I mean, last week in Austria, that was just crazy. That was. It was just overtake after overtake. You just couldn't keep up. It's a bit easier around Silverstone to keep up. But I've noticed Nats has actually gone on now onto mediums. So she must have burnt them hard tyres out for to come in so early to change.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been doing some impressive work on those hard tyres. I imagine she got damage. But I'm just looking at it. I'm trying to if I'm sounding like I can't get the words out, I'm trying to figure out what strategies people are on. It's like if the hard tyres were green, it would be like a traffic light because everyone is on different strategies here. We've got a few on mediums, we've got quite a few on hards, and we've got 4 or 5 on softs. One of them is about to change, which is Key Rom. He will be coming in to change his soft tyres. So he must
he's got damage.
Oh, as LS 24 Hours, who I think has made a great start here, up some positions. Yeah, it's up 7 places, going side by side, and had a little switch next to Rodo there. And
going about his job nice and just staying out of trouble.
Right, I'm going to switch to Backer now, as we've said, staying out of trouble. Watch him hit the wall here.
He's just got past Law.
Yeah, and I see, they're battling hard, and Backer's right on the back of this now. And there's contact, on it, and Backer's right involved in it now. Yeah, that's end plate gone for Lau on the left front side there, you can see, and Smith all of a sudden back up there. I can't believe how much it's switched around in this top 6 so far. But as Colin said in the chat, Stubby is in a great position if there's no safety car, because he's up there on the hards and he's got a 3.2 second gap to Oscar, and then behind Oscar there is a load more fighting going on. As Lau, he's just really struggling with understeer at the moment with that Aston Martin. Luckily he's borrowing Kmoki's car.
Both the Red Bulls are having a bit of a nightmare. Explicit Simo is in now for a new nose, and Nats has gone in again and gone back onto hards.
Yeah, and as you can see, they are so far down on the rest of the field here. Where are they on track? Well, Los Guaida is right behind Natalie on track now. So this could be possibly the earliest we've seen someone get lapped. So that prediction has aged horrifically for DC karting.
I'm blaming DC karting. I'm blaming karting for this one. I'm not going to take the blame for this one, because I did say good luck to Nats, but karting did say she'd finish on podium, so
you can share the blame then on this one.
She'll blitz it. She's just playing mind tricks at the moment.
I'm predicting the Aston Martins are going to have a horrible race, in the hope that will mean they finish 1 and 2. We'll see how bad my predictions are. Well, Backer actually going very well at the moment. He's on the back of Oscar, and he wants to be patient here because he's going to have DRS fairly soon. But I don't know if patience is in Backer's vocabulary. I'm not sure of many words that are in his vocabulary though. I've got another one out there. I'll have to tell him about that one after. Just skip over about 30 minutes into the stream. Don't watch that part. No, he is actually very good at English. Fair play to him. Here he comes with DRS. He has been patient, and he sends it up the inside. As he made it stick, Oscar's going round the outside, and that gives him the inside to Luffield now. And Backer trying to get the exit here, and he's going to have a great exit, and he should have this done by the corner. Or will he? Oh. I was getting nervous around there these days.
Yeah, to back out of that one, I think.
Yeah, and look who that's brought into the mix. It's Entity. and in the background Smith as well. So you can't afford to scrap with anyone in Championship Division this season, because people just end up with such similar pace being right back on top of you. I'm seeing that Lau has also pitted. He's taken the hard tyres, down in 14th position, 8 seconds adrift of Simo, who's 32 seconds adrift of Huss. I don't know if that's correct, but the bottom 4 are a long way back, and obviously only top 12 places paying points. In Backer, that's more like it. Backer, that's what we expect to see, having a big moment.
I was going to say drop back quite a bit then. But yeah, Low had to go in to have a wing change from the contacts.
He's got Keyron for company back there at the moment, just 3 temps separating them. Now what's going to happen up here in front? Can Entity get past Oscar and make this move stick? Because Backer couldn't quite do it. But Smith will be licking his lips, and Smith is also in a good position, but he'll be frustrated with this at the moment, because they're about 6 seconds behind Stubby, who you would say at this point Stubby and Smith are in a golden position for this race. Don't forget Lost Glader, but I think getting the hards out of the way now could be a really good decision for them.
Yeah, I started on hards yesterday. I have been struggling this year with the hard tyres. They weren't too bad round here, so you might be able to drag them out. You could possibly go hard softs.
That's exactly what I was thinking, and to be honest, I actually thought yesterday when I got onto the hards, they're quite a good little race tyre this season. As I know on the previous game it was, as Oscar has a big moment, that's going to allow Entity and possibly Smith through. Smith just giving him room up the inside, and they're side by side going into turn 1 here, and Smith just thinks a little bit better of it as Backer now rejoins this battle. And the thing is here, it's breaking the DRS. It's kind of the same when you're I think it's the same everywhere, because DRS seems really powerful at the moment.
Yeah, when you got ERS and DRS, you're flying down the corner and the corners come up to you rather quick. You've really got to slam the brakes on.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's really tough for the guys in front who are trying to break that DRS, and you just can't seem to get out of it at times. As Entity, you can see his ERS flashing there, clearly trying to break this gap as much as he can, but he's only got 6 attempts to Oscar at the moment. He's going to have a blinder through Maggots and Beckett's here. I can see out in front as well, Stubby massively closing the gap to Glader, and it looks like the soft tyres may have had their day. And these guys are going to be a bit too far back on Entity, and Smith not making a move just yet. And I'm going to switch when they come around this corner to go have a little look at the battle for P1, which we're riding on board with now. Stubby's been showing really good pace this season.
Yeah, and on them hard tyres as well. Obviously, like you said, the softs are going to be going off now. Stubby's made the right call. He stayed with Lost Glader on the mods, and he's got past him.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly where we saw Backer do it a few laps ago, but he looks like he's got this one all sewn up, whereas Backer didn't quite have that done, and Stubby should now be able to really stretch his gap in front.
Oscar's had a moment and has dropped down.
Right down to 12th, and I think it's soft tyre runners. Stubby, 3 second time penalty.
Oh, that can hurt. That can hurt. That can.
So we know Stubby's quick, but he's clearly pushing these track limits at the moment. I don't know if I need to re-familiarise myself with the data here to see where I find the penalties and stuff. If I can. I'm not sure I have the intelligence to do more than one thing at once. As Entity and Smith still doing battle, Backer interested, but Bakker might be thinking about pitting soon because the soft tyres seem to be really struggling at the moment, but he's going okay at the moment.
I was just looking at Stubby's tyres on them hards, and his front ones are at 30%. So if that's on the hards, let's have to see what them softs are.
Yeah, I'm looking at Bakker here, 48% on the front left, so not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's getting to a dangerous stage. I'll have a look at Lost Glader, who does seem to have lost a little bit of the pace, who I actually can't see in the list at the moment, unfortunately.
My page has gone completely blank.
Yeah, mine did as well. As soon as I tried to click on no driver, thinking that might be him, but yeah. Ivor saying Tokyo Drift Bakker. I'm pretty sure all his engineers will be hoping he stops drifting it and looks after these tyres. Although he might not have to look after them for much longer. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him shooting into the pit lane this time round. Will he do that? Stays out for another lap, clearly trying to extend as far as possible. But I don't think you need to necessarily extend to try and take the mediums here. Hard tyres are not bad at all round here, as Smith and Stubby are proving. Entity is on a slightly different strategy then between these guys at the front on the mediums. He's the first of those runners, so it'll be interesting to see what Entity opts for through this race. But as you can see, Smith actually pulling away from him a bit at the moment. He's just staying enough in the DRS. The back is... maybe Bakker's just got hard tyres on and it's got a red ring round it, because he seems to be growing into this race and looking better than ever, even after that earlier little moment.
Yeah, nine laps around Silverstone on them softs. They're holding out actually really well.
Yeah, as Entity in a dirty air, Smith runs a little bit wide there. Might have a track warning for that, so he'll have to be careful.
So Bakker, just a bit of patience. Don't go let these two battle. Pick one off.
Yep. And from me, Bakker, don't go breaking my heart again. There's been a few times where I should have really sang that part. I don't think anyone would like to hear that though. As he does pit. Here he goes. So, what will Bakker opt for here? I'll stick with this battle in front. But Smith and Entity still losing time on the guys out in front. And I would have thought they'd start catching Glader now, but maybe this is just because they're battling. But maybe they'll start working together soon enough with DRS to try and catch up if they want any chance of winning this. Because all they need to do really at the moment is get within 6 seconds of Stubby. Currently, they are 4... What am I saying? They need to get within 3 seconds of Stubby, but currently they are 10 seconds behind. Can't even do maths right now.
Bakker's gone onto hard, so I'd imagine just the one stop. You don't want to be too many stops around here, because that pit lane is so long. It's a horrible pit lane. It kills so much time.
Oh, it's so slow. I forgot that it was a lower pit speed in when I came in, or at least that's my excuse right now till I'll think of a better one.
It's usually, I mean, learner driver might be able to help you on this one, but it's the middle pedal, or if you've got 3 pedals, or the brake.
Yeah, I often lose that one. I keep hitting the one on the right hand side. The one on the right hand side sounds a bit louder, so I prefer that one. Doesn't help my racing though. Leaky and Oil Can doing a bit of battle here. Entity has pitted on those mediums, only going 1 lap longer than Bakker and the same amount of laps as Glader. So they're all going to be taken hard. So the mediums looks like a bit of an odd strategy for Entity. We've got Bakker who has taken the hards, and what else have we got going on here? Still Lukey and Oil Can doing battle, and this is the guy starting on the hards, slowly moving towards the front as Rusty goes very, very deep into the second corner there.
Yeah, we've got obviously the front runners at the moment now down to 8th, haven't pitted yet. Kieran not having a race that you'll want to remember at the moment.
No, but he's positioned himself now in 8th on this strategy, and if there's a safety car or something, it just opens it up. Obviously, he'd want that to be quite a bit later so we can make use of the other compounds, but he's plugging away, doing what he needs to do. I mean, it's going better for Kieran than it is for Kieron or Nat.
Yeah, and Simo as well down there in 12th, so the Red Bull's not liking Silverstone at all.
Colin's just come up with a great tip in chat. Says, if you're unsure of what the pit lane limit is, wait till the car in front of you pits and then just use them as your brakes and now get the penalty instead. As LS 24 hours, clearly he could have done with me saying that tip a bit earlier, as Leaky gets spun round by Huss, and Huss, fair play, doing a sporting thing and waiting for him, but he's going to lose multiple positions himself. He's having a little inspection of the gravel there as well, as Leaky now goes straight back past. But Kieran, that's what I was talking about. All of a sudden he's up quite a few places and he's chasing after Rusty for 4th. As LS 24 hours also in the pits. An undercut that me and Entity found out works last night has worked for Bakary, 6 tenths ahead of Entity here. And this could be the only other problem for the guys at the front, is the undercut is quite powerful here.
Yeah, I got away with the overcut on Schnelling yesterday. That kind of, I managed to get out just ahead of him. So
that's because you're like a masseuse with your tyres. You can keep them alive when everyone else's are dead.
That's because I haven't learned how to use the right pedal yet.
If we could combine ourselves, we'd make a really good driver. Just as long as we're not standing on the pedals at the same time.
That's what your Aston Martins are doing. They're just showing me what speed is by just pushing me.
Absolutely not true this season. And actually, out in front, interestingly, Smith's just 5.5 seconds behind Stubby right now.
Yeah, he's caught that time, what? Because he was like 10 seconds, wasn't he? So, and they haven't pitted, neither of them, so he's studying.
And when we looked at it being 10 seconds, I think it was about lap 8, so he took about a second out of him per lap. And you can see there, it's nearly another, well, it's just gone back up. But I'd hazard a guess that he's took another few tenths out in those selection of corners there. And this, we were starting to think maybe that this was all Lost Glader and Stubby for the win, but it's anybody's game now, especially with back at an Entity. If they can keep in this clean air and keep posting the times, they could get themselves up there and avoid the penalties as well.
I say Lost Glader on the mediums has managed to work himself up into 5th. That's a strong position, but them mediums might be as Oski gets a 3 second.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, I found for the mediums, they took us. Oh yeah,
and Smith as well. So.
Interesting. So maybe Smith was listening to Colin's advice, wasn't quite close enough to put it into action. So Lost Glader will take over the lead here, but his mediums are going to be in a world of pain at the end, considering he pitted on lap 11. He sets a fastest lap though, so he's going to have an extra point for that if he holds on to it. But Smith and Stubby also going to mediums, but they're going to have much fresher mediums come the end of the race. I still think it's possibly hard is the best racing tyre here.
Simo's retired. He's had 5 seconds. Well, we've got speed in the pit lane, but yeah. So
he was speeding into retirement. As Stubby now making a move on Leaky, who got unfortunately tapped by Huss and spun round. He could have been much further up the road. And I think we've seen Rusty, Oil Can and Kieran and Huss pit, as well as Rodo, all opting for mediums. So Backer and Entity now are the ones on a different strategy.
Yeah, I think he'll probably see Leaky go in. I think he'll probably look at going on to softs. I don't think he'll be putting onto anything else when he does come in.
No, and I think Stubby must have got a quicker stop than Smith there, because Smith's now about 6.5 seconds behind. So, yeah, Leaky does pit. Well, the caution, yellow flags in 2 and 3, and that looks to be a slow moving horse of Oscar. So Loud putting himself up into 11th now. So the question is, how quick are Lost Glader's tyres really going to drop off here? Because he was, what, a second or so. Oh, Oscar's out of the race. We got a virtual safety car. I was just about to say, Oscar, Lost Glader was about a second or so behind Stubby, and in the undercut is now 10.5 seconds ahead. He must have been well, we saw him get a fastest lap, but he must have been absolutely flying in those 4 laps.
He's going to hurt them tyres. In them 4 laps, he's really going to
and the problem is,
them tyres.
He's the one driver I can't get on the tyre wear. I'd love to see it. Let's see if I can do it. Is there any way, can I find a workaround?
Yeah, I've tried it and it just screamed as blank.
Yeah, not working for me.
But Oscar, yeah, he went wide and then went to go into the pits and hit the wall quite hard, so I don't know if that was intentional or... But yeah, he did kind of, because I was watching him after his spin, and that's what brought out the virtual safety car.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I think Lost Glader could get himself a very easy victory the way it's going. He's effectively 12 seconds ahead of Stubby, because Stubby needs to pass him and then drop him by 3 seconds. Backer and Entity aren't in a bad position here, because they can just push those hard tyres every single lap, and they'll still have the tyre left at the end. But Lost Glader, it's going to be really, we're looking around lap 23 to see if his lap times are declining at a rapid rate, which they had done to Stubby in the first stint.
Yeah, I'd imagine with that kind of gap now, he'll probably go into tyre saving mode. He'll probably push them tyres really hard for the first 4 laps to get that cushion. And now we'll probably just ease off a bit and just maintain that gap.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's the ball's in his court, as they say, as Entity flies past the Aston Martin of Backer. I wonder if they'll work together at all to try and catch, but it looks like they're dropping time, and Smith not really catching them as quick as he would have liked. And Entity now sitting 5 seconds behind Stubby, as Stubby, wow, that's making things interesting, setting the fastest lap, and all of a sudden he's within 8 seconds on the road.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was just watching the time come down. He's caught a lot of time up, so whether Lost Glader has really hurt his tyres, and now he's proper managing them, but Stubby is catching him up quite quick, and he'll have fresher rubber as well, so he's going to try and it's almost the second he's caught up on him.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying at the moment. I'm going to go, if I've got Stubby on here, I'm going to have a look at his tyres and try and calculate at least what we think, if they're driving in a similar way, what Glader will be on. So Stubby at the moment, his worst tyre is his front left tyre at 12.5%. Make that, well, it's just gone up to 13%. It's gone up rapidly for, well, it's maggots and Beckett's, isn't it? Putting that load through the tyres. So if that's 12% after 3 laps, 4% per lap, so we reckon that Los Glader, when he crosses the line here, will be about 28-30%, because it'll be his 7th lap on those tyres. He's got 7 to go. So he's going to be looking around 60%, so he is going to lose grip, but he's not going to be in danger of puncture unless, like you said, he did absolutely cane those tyres in the first few laps.
Yeah, I'm just watching. There's Entity, Backer and Smith.
Yeah, see
they're
then.
not. Yeah, I'm going to say they're not helping each other here, battling with each other. Not going to. But Stubby now, he's only 6.5 seconds behind Glader now.
Yeah, and this is really cost them for catching the other guys. I'm not sure they would have anyway, but they're now 10.5 seconds back from Stubby. So this is just really a fight for 3rd place. As Key Ron picks up a 3-second time penalty. Oh, Backer Entity nearly making contact. Smith goes straight through the middle of them. And, oh, this could be very nasty up here. And I tell you what, who this has worked out for. Rodo all of a sudden is on the back of this. He has got a penalty. Oh, as Backer runs wide and he's going to lose position from that. And Smith now next to attack.
And what Backer's problem here now is it's a DRS train.
Yeah. And Smith's going to get the best of it.
Yeah.
So Smith making those tyres work at the moment, and he will be quick at the moment, but will it count against him towards the end? I think he probably would have just gone deep enough into the race that he'd keep these tyres in the groove. I think that's more of an issue for Glader out front. The gap now down to 5.5 seconds. And Back has a big moment and Rodo's all over the back of him.
Yeah, Rodo's just gone about his business nice and just watching these lap battle. Going to be killing their tyres as well. And he's just, yeah, I think he's going to have a look back at there. He's having it on the inside.
And they're going sideways there. He's got another chance with DRS here.
Yeah, Rodo with the sausage curb, which didn't help him. This is helping Smith and Entity.
Yeah, well, Backer's going to be dropped from that battle for the podium if it keeps going like this. And there goes Rodo round the outside. And Backer's just going to have to be patient here. But Rodo obviously got that penalty. And I'll just check how much that is. There you can see the penalties on the left-hand side of your screen now. I just did notice that Smith has still got 35% ERS, so he's been managing it. That was probably why we didn't see him catch them quite as quick as we thought, but then got caught in the battle. So he might just have to settle for 3rd, unless Stubby and Glader battle very, very hard at the front. Backer back past Rodo in the DRS zone, goes really deep, and Rodo will be back past, will he? No, Backer has the inside line into the left-hander, but goes quite deep and nearly drops it again, and very, very quick reactions from Rodo to miss the back end of Backer. There's still a top 5 here for Backer, but he's effectively out of that 3rd position battle. He just needs to stick with Rodo within 3 seconds, as Rodo goes very deep himself there.
Stubby is really, I think it's going to be a big ask now to actually overtake Glader and pull 3 seconds out on him. But he's having a go.
Yeah, unless we see a really dramatic drop off in those tyres. I'll just have a quick look at Stubby's tyres and do some more calculating. So Stubby's up at 25%. Actually, so the tyres might have been worse than we thought. And that's at 6 laps. So Glader must be looking at well close to 40% here on his tyres. but it just seems to be settling around 3.5 seconds, that gap a little bit. I'll keep an eye on it. At the moment I'm watching back at, maybe I should watch Entity for the final podium position, but he's too far back, so I'll have a look at this battle behind. And unfortunately, with those incidents at the start, with the Red Bulls and stuff, and Lau dropping back, there's some big gaps at the back, apart from Huss and Leaky, who are back on track again together. Huss now going for the overtake. Down the inside, should have that one done. Yeah, very nice from Huss there. And Kieran, who we were talking about, just minding his own business. He has a chance at some good points here. LS 24 Hours, I think he's a reserve. I'm not totally sure. Well, he might be full time now, because I believe the Ferrari seat became free all of a sudden. But he's got, but he's got 8 seconds of penalties, which he needs to find some time and find it quick if he's going to clear Kieran. And Kieran, at the moment, if he stays behind Rusty here, and Rusty picks up a penalty, that could be another position, or he might get him on track if he can catch him. So Kieran turning what was looking like not one of his best races into what will be a quite good points haul, as Rodo gets very, very squirrely there, and he's dropped quite a bit of time to back at as we go into Maggots and Beckett's. Now, Entity, what can he do on Smith? And just seeing up in front, Stubby now within 3 seconds, but he's running out of time.
Yeah, the only thing Stubby's got is he's coming up behind a Red Bull. So if he can get into DRS zone of the Red Bull, that might help him a bit, but he's running out of laps. He's not going to do it unless Glader tyres have completely gone in his spins.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there'll be a lot of people here in chat with seeing how the Mercedes have started the All Gears Championship, the Cross Division Championship. They'll be willing Entity on to try and get Smith here to take some points away from Mercedes, but he's just barely hanging on in the DRS zone at the moment, but Smith also using all the ERS he has left. And Rodo and Back are still at it.
That Red Bull is Nats, and Nats has actually got past Glader, but I think that's kind of helped Glader now because he's got DRS because of it.
Yeah, and absolutely.
That's going to keep Stubby behind him.
Yeah, borrows the DRS, but yeah, giving him about 4-5 tenths there.
Yeah, that DRS is so powerful, especially in this game. I just saw that because Nats got past him quite easy, so I think he was just looking at letting her past and then using the DRS just to keep that gap from himself to Stubby.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's getting very close to completing what will be a great win for the Ferrari team. Stubby mightily unlucky, and in the end that 3-second penalty could prove to be really costly.
He's got a big gap over Smith, so he's going to be looking at second.
He'll have second, but potentially that race win, because he was leading at Austria, was he not? I think as well. So it's proving very elusive for Stubby at the moment.
Yeah, as soon as he picked up that time penalty over, so didn't he? That's going to come back and hurt.
Yeah. I didn't quite expect Glader to get so far ahead in the pit stops though. Unbelievable to pick that 10 seconds up. Entity, biding his time, is actually much closer to Smith this lap.
I'm just looking at the Rodo back at battle. I mean, Rodo's tyres are going to be hurting him. But he's got DRS. He's always going to going for it. Yeah.
And he's got it done. Bakker won't be too worried at the moment. He'll be bringing the car home for some good points in the top 5 here. Well,
Yeah,
as he really runs into the back of him. I don't know why I bother saying things about the way backwards thinking. I always wide of the mark. So, Stubby.
Kieran up to 8.
And Kieran is up to 8, so he's closed down Rusty Oilcan very, very rapidly there. And he's looking at a 7th place here, potentially. He's got Rusty Oilcan still in the DRS zone. Ideally for himself, he'll find a couple of attempts and get himself protection with LS's DRS.
Yeah, and LS24's got penalties as well, so that means Kieran now is actually up to 7th.
Yeah, and it's he just had a really good middle phase of the race, Kieran. A few incidents happening around him, kept it cool, managed his race perfectly. As Lau picks up a 3-second penalty, but that's unlikely to cost him anything. Actually, it will cost him potentially getting... No, I was looking at Huss's time, Taliki. It won't cost him, he's 42 seconds behind.
Yeah, I think because Kieran is reserving, so Nats would be 13th. So she could actually get a point. Top 12.
If she can catch Lau, yeah, absolutely. Whereas Entity will be hoping to get a couple more points here. It's still right in the back of Smith. The race out in front, I think, is over here. As Glader not able to... Glader keeping those tyres really well and Stubby not able to make the pressure count as his tyres themselves are going off. Entity and Smith. And maybe this is why Entity's come back into this a bit, because Smith's mediums are starting to struggle a little bit now.
Yeah, I think he's only got a few corners left. He's going to have to put something at the bag.
Yeah, and I hope Entity wasn't watching me too closely on my attempts at overtakes. Hopefully he'll get it done for himself. But Smith and the Mercedes team will be hoping absolutely not. As we see Rusty Oilcan gets back past Kieran but runs wide, but also runs Kieran wide. So that's a right old battle going on for a potential 7th place here. I'll move back to the front now and just see Entity with his last lap dash.
He's going outside.
He's gone on the outside. He's done it. And Entity puts himself into the podium position. And he should have that one tied up if he can get around this corner, as Glader takes the win from Stubby 5 seconds back from him with his penalty. And Entity has done it. And Smith... Oh, it's going to be tight to the line. Oh, back and nearly taking a 4th place. Rodo takes 6th with a very, very good drive. And NS24 is going to lose a couple of positions here, but who will get that position behind him? Kieran and Oilcan still battling. And got very, very tight. Oh, and there we go. Rusty takes 7th and 8th to Kieran. Huss actually manages to benefit from all that fight and gets up to 9th, and LS falls all the way down to 10th. Leakey rounding it off in 11th, and Lau, the last car to come home in the points, in 12th. An absolute nightmare day for the Red Bulls, and one to forget about quickly. And Kieran as well, not having much luck reserving. Wow, that was pretty exciting.
I always love Silverstone. Always not as frantic as Austria. Always a lot of excitement at Silverstone. Love the track.
Yeah, absolutely. It always produces fireworks on the track, albeit no fireworks off the track. Save that for, I guess, Las Vegas and all those other tracks where they actually need some fireworks, I guess. You know my views. I like old racing circuits.
Yeah. I've seen Las Vegas. That's not a track I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely not. I might have to miss that week. I'm not going on holiday. I just don't know if I can hack it. And now you see Los Glader taking a very well-earned win. Stubby coming close for the second week in a row. Unfortunately, last week it ended in misery when he got clipped by Nats for the lead and crashed out. This week, though, he secures the second place, and Entity, with a last lap move on Smith, takes the final podium position. And probably the worst race we've seen from the Mercedes team this season in RPM. And you say that when they're down in fourth.
It's Mercedes have got, as we know, a strong team. So yeah, it's not been a good day for Red Bull, and not the best for the Mercs.
No, absolutely not. The one thing Stubby does get is he cancels out Los Glader's pole by getting the fastest lap in a race, picking himself up an extra point. And I think we might see some steward reports. There was some close racing. Saw a little bit with Rusty and Kieran at the end. Might see something. But yeah, I've really enjoyed that tonight. Thank you for being with me there, Mr. Inorganic.
Thank you for having me.
We didn't have any. We had 2 DNFs, but no safety car. So that bet from Ivor early on, that's our money. So we'll have to go out on the town tonight.
Yeah, and the Cosmo one as well. It didn't go out on lap 9.
No, I think we've done okay with the predictions tonight. I'm just trying to think. It was did anyone? No one had Stubby in the top 3. We had a Lost Glader and Entity. I think we're safe. It might be the first week that Bet RPM has actually turned a profit, which is a record in itself.
I can see Luke running to the bank right now.
Yeah, he'll be. I'm sure we'll be getting a thank you email soon. We won't have to stare at that warning email anymore. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, though, Mr. Unorganic. We do actually have a podium sitter. He's desperate for an interview. Well, Mr. Inorganic, as I was saying, you got any questions for the man who goes by the Entity?
How did you find that?
So I can confirm no one can hear you. So I will translate to everyone. An Entity once again reiterating his hatred for Brighton and Hove Albion.
I didn't quite catch that.
Yeah, no, neither did I. I can't take compliments. No, but you did have a very good race. Were you biding your time, and I will actually say this properly, on Smith, or... So Entity said how he got Smith was through pure luck. No, he said he bided his time and waited. He thought Smith was watching telemetry, but I'm pretty sure with that Williams in your rearview mirror, you're definitely watching what's capable behind that. We saw some good racing with some exciting racing behind as well with Becker till he got gapped. How did you find that? He had a few little moments. Was it a bit terrifying? Oh, I think I'm not even. He said it was absolutely terrifying. Well, very well done tonight. What a failed interview where you have to translate everything he says. We need an interpreter for him. We'll have to, if you keep making a habit out of this Entity, you'll have to sort this out. Yeah, exactly. Right. No
I was
problem
just
having you.
I was just going to ask, where did you find the tyres, the tyre wear? Yeah, it must just be me then that kills the hards.
To be honest, I had problems on all the tyres yesterday. I just thought they go off so quick.
Yeah, coming from somebody who finishes second,
It was third actually.
third. I don't
Just
know. I
mate,
wasn't that far up. I wasn't that close.
you just rubbing in all those penalties that I got told not to get by my engineer.
I was just
Well,
thinking of a battle with a Ferrari.
oh, I don't remember it. I don't think I saw a Ferrari on track. Well, thank you very much for joining me in Organic. Will you be back next week? Because I think Luke is away again, so I will be here.
Um, Yep, if you want me, yep, I'll join you. I know I'm on tomorrow as well.
Absolutely. Now we're turning profits on Bet RPM. I think it's a good luck charm. So, um, yeah, thanks for joining me tonight. And for anyone still watching, please join us tomorrow night where who's on commentary tomorrow night? Is it Kieran?
Um, Myself, and if not, I don't know if Kieran will join me because I know he's going to the cinemas tomorrow.
Or is he going to see Barbie?
No comment. But he is dressing up as Ken. He has got an actual Ken fancy dress costume.
Oh, Kenron will be his new name. We've got a few different pronunciations of Kieran. Well, be sure to tune in to the dulcet, brummy tones of Inorganic tomorrow night for Premier Division. And we will be back next week, same time, on the Wednesday for Championship Division and Tuesday next week for First Division, where you can see me and Inorganic stop running our mouths and try and run the car around the track. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you again, Inorganic.
Thank you very much. I'll see you on track.